Well, so I just have one poem for you today, and it's got a little bit of a story behind it. So this one is about my hometown, and it's also kind of a bit about me. When my mom was my age, Vancouver, where I'm from, had an outdoor zoo right downtown in Stanley Park, basically like Vancouver's Central Park. Now, the zoo was a really controversial topic for a long time. A lot of people wanted it to be closed because the enclosures were small and the animals weren't in the right environment, but other people argued that the zoo was one of the only activities in Vancouver that didn't cost any money. The zoo ended up getting shut down, and most of the animals were rehabilitated or moved to other zoos, but the zoo also had a polar bear, and nobody knew what to do with him, so even after the zoo was closed, he was kept in his enclosure alone. He died there right before I was born. This poem is called Tuck, which was the name of the polar bear. When the last polar bear in Stanley Park died, it was a blessing. I have never been hungry, but nonetheless, I've learned starvation. I am consuming constantly in a trained motion. Primary producers and primary consumers in our food chain economy, and consumption will kill you, but TB makes you pretty. I blow through stormy streets of glass towers, tearing down Vancouver's own Berlin Wall between west and east, through every VD clinic and strip mall in the city. I flee the downtown for a home an hour away, and I close my eyes. It's not sleep, but it's blindness, nonetheless. It's quietude, and I will romanticize it and fantasize about it when I'm far gone above the bored financial offices. I can't remember when your apartment saw the sea. Hurricanes get tangled in the mountains here, swallowed before they can form. It's storming as I bus home. A hail hits my umbrella, and we hail to the northern sky of industry that rains on us all and bruises under my fingertips. I'm not hungry, but I'm eating. Caloric buildup in the veins of Highway 1 up through the Coquihalla. I'm scared to drive here, but if I want to get home, I've got to carve up the mountains and build myself a cave. When the polar bear in Stanley Park died, I was too young to understand. Who was I to know the zoo and its profits, the pirates of Granville Island, and the train robbers of the Great Canadian? Every roadside attraction attracted me. In shiny tinfoil signs in the sun, blown-up statues of family haunts turned haunted houses. It doesn't snow in Vancouver. It rains all year long, but it doesn't flood. It doesn't freeze. The city is constantly in motion and melting away and becoming something new. The zoo is an iceberg of a bygone era. The spit in my mouth is frozen solid, but I'm still talking. Can you hear me? At one point, that building was a school. At one point, this whole city was aflame. We used to burn, and now we've got an earthquake on the horizon. All the trees fall into themselves and cover the paths and the pasts. And who will be left to forget them? Can you afford to have your building fall down? It's the details I don't know that get to me. Did he have a name? Who fed him? Where did he come from before he was ours? How do you care for a polar bear without ice? The zoo is free admission, you know. They'll charge you for the bathrooms, but you can go see the penguins without $1 in your pocket. Hard to imagine, isn't it? A place that doesn't expect anything of you. But it's cruel to keep a bear in a cage. It's cruel to ask for it back just so I have somewhere to go. It's cruel to be nostalgic for something that I wasn't even there for. When the last polar bear in Stanley Park died, I like to think Vancouver mourned. Travel out of your 600 square foot concrete glass bedrooms and come grieve with me. Let us all light dollar store candles and pretend it was anything other than an injustice that we were all privy to. We can grieve the future when this city forces us all out and the rich come in, when nobody remembers what the polar bear's name was, when they close the St. Joe's Hostel and open another fucking Hermes on Robson. People say there's no history here, but someone had to open that zoo. Someone had to love it. So this city's ugly. So we've torn down our historical buildings and we've made them all glass. So I'm throwing stones like I've barricaded the doors of the house of the Lord. God, you deserve it. I'm throwing stones and your windows break and the glass folds in and you can't get rid of me that easily. What did you expect? You sold your soul for this. The windows break and the glass shatters like ice, splintering, breaking off from the mainland, drifting. And we are all sent out to sea. And I see what's left of us when we've turned away. You know what I see? I see a grown-over enclosure where the last polar bear in Stanley Park died, where the earth never froze and where the dirt stays dry. Thank you.